like Bunch AMA. All right, Dounia, I can see on my screen that I think we are officially live now. How are you feeling?
Very excited. I'm like,
Awesome.
wow. For a former TV host, it's still excited.
Awesome. Yeah. Former TV, what kind of TV?
Live TV, basically really live TV. So it's always excited, you know, especially when you hear like 3, 2, 1 and live. Yes.
What's your biggest like live tip? Like what do I have to keep in mind?
Just be yourself.
Just be yourself.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the best thing you can do for yourself, right?
I think so too, but it's always a good reminder. Well, great. I mean, I think we probably have some folks trickling in already. We are live. So putting everything up, getting everything ready here. I see the notification just went out. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm sure some people will be trickling in. Excited to have everyone and really excited about the next 30-45 minutes with you, Dounia. Quick intro on myself, super quick intro on myself. I'm Anthony, one of the co-founders here at Bunch. And we're really thrilled to be doing stuff like this, bringing in experts and bringing in real sort of coaches and leaders from the field and offering these kinds of events and this kind of content to the community. This is really one of our favorite things to do. So I'll keep that super short and quickly say to you, Dounia, we're absolutely thrilled to have you. And to everyone else, we have Dounia Lkoundi here, a leadership coach for women, but the B.O.O.S.T coach. And I think, Dounia, the best way to start would be, I just pass it over to you. Would love to get to know you more and for you to give everybody an introduction on who you are and what you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for inviting me here, live from the Netherlands, by the way. Well, my name is Dounia Lkoundi. I am almost 47 next Friday. Well, I help female leaders as the B.O.O.S.T coach. I help female leaders, to create more impact and growth in their business by uncovering their success blocks and get rid of them for good so that they can create more impact and more growth, and they can lead by example. So I think like leading by example, it's a really big key for female leaders. The more, like I told you in the beginning, the more you are yourself, the more powerful you are. And the more powerful you are like a real role model to the new generation. So yeah, that's what I do.
Very cool. And so I would love to get to know the B.O.O.S.T framework and how it helps develop leaders. So what is B.O.O.S.T and how does it work?
Yes, it's a kind of acronym. It's, of course, my name is the B.O.O.S.T coach and it's the B.O.O.S.T framework. I also call it like, to make it happen, how to make it happen for yourself. It's a 5-step process. And the first step of the B.O.O.S.T framework is, be specific what you want. As a leader, you can fall in the pitfall that you can focus too much on the things that you don't want. You can be focused on the fear of failure, of the fear that the team is not going aligned with you. So be specific. The first step is to be specific about what you want, to focus on the things you do want instead of focusing on the things you don't want, because it's really important to focus on the positive things, whatever you want to create, whatever you want to manifest. Then the second step, the first O, is optimize your vibration. As a leader, do you believe you will achieve whatever you want? As a leader, do you have faith in yourself, in the team, to make it happen? That's so important. And that is really the internal work, not only as a leader, but as a team member. The third step is open and receive. And especially for women, for a lot of women, somehow they have some difficulties with receiving things. Are you ready to receive whatever you want to manifest? How do you handle when you receive a compliment? How do you receive success? How do you receive a promotion? How do you receive that? Because a lot of things happening internally for a woman when she's receiving. So are you ready to receive? So if you look at the first 3 steps, the B.O.O., that is like really an internal process. All right. Now, the 4th step is start doing it. So the S of boost, start doing it. So start doing it. It's also like, what kind of strategy will you apply? Are you ready to apply the strategy? I mean, what I see in my business, in my practice, there is too much focus on strategy, and especially the success strategy. But I think the most important thing is the internal work of your members, of your team members, and your own internal work as a leader. So the S of strategy, or start doing it. What is it? What is the first step you can make right now, right? So, because I see a lot of female leaders also struggling with that, because they are saying a lot of times like, yeah, when I become more confident, then I will do it. Then I will take action, right? But the confidence will grow the moment you start rolling the ball. So you need to start act upon whatever you want, and your confidence will grow along with that. And the last step is take time to celebrate. I think as a team, do not forget the joy, the passion, the positive emotions of gratefulness and thankfulness, to make it happen. So every baby step you can take as a team or as a leader, you need to celebrate that. So that is the B.O.O.S.T framework, but there's also a step 0. Like, this is like before you start the first step, you need to own it. And what do I mean by that? Owning things is being responsible, becoming more responsible. And it's owning your success, but it's also owning your blocks. What is holding you back? Do you know that? You know what's holding you back. And you have to work on that before you start any new vision or goal or whatever you want to call it. But own it, be responsible. And responsibility, it's a great explanation if you put it like this. Responsibility is the ability to respond on every situation that you will face. So that's like, I think for leadership, that's like number 1, being responsible. As a leader, you need to be agile, adapt to the situation. So that is the B.O.O.S.T framework.
I love that. I mean, the acronym is amazing, but I also love what you just said at the end around, I've never heard responsibility broken up and defined that way. I will probably remember that forever. That was that's really important.
Yeah, but I have to honor somebody who was explaining that. That was Will Smith, who is not in a very positive vibe right now. But I've seen a couple of years ago a video when he was explaining about owning it, how to be responsible. And then he explained like ability to respond. I'm like, boom, that explains everything about owning it and being responsible. Yeah.
Great. Really cool. And so on the topic of leadership in general, I mean, how do you define leadership, and what are your secrets, or what have you learned? What are the secrets to really good, sustainable leadership according to your definition?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think, for sustainable success as a leader, I think what I see in the corporate world, or what I've experienced in the corporate world, is more like the short-term goals, like go boom, go boom, go boom. And sometimes as a leader, you forget the bigger picture, right? So that's why sustainable success, like long-term success, is so important. But, to create sustainable success, you have to have clarity around what is it that you want and what is holding you back, what could hold you back. Because it's really what I'm saying now. It's really, you can take it on a macro level, but you can also look at it from a micro level. If you know where you're going, you need to know where you come from. Because if in the past things happened like blocks or negative things, and if you haven't resolved that, it will pop up on the way to your future, on the way to your targets, on the way to your vision, on your way to your destination, whatever you want to call it. So if you want to create sustainable success, you need to know now what was holding you back, get rid of it, so that you can avoid the same things, the same patterns, so that you can make it happen, so that you can create that future, that brilliant future, or that vision you have. So, and it's so important, past, present, future. And I think that is super important for sustainable success, because it involves transformation, of course, because if you know what's holding you back as a leader from the past, you have to get rid of that ASAP, because it will come back, but it's also for the whole team, it's an inner work for every team member. But if you know where you're going, you have to know where you come from. And if there are some negative patterns in the team or as a leader, own that and get rid of that, so that the path will be free, so that you can make it happen as a leader. And that is sustainable success. It's a long-term success where not only they will profit from it, not only the company will profit from it, but everyone will profit from it, the planet, the clients. And yeah, that is sustainable success, that you can create that ripple effect for everyone.
Yeah. And I love how you've worked in the past, present, and the future into the B.O.O.S.T framework. And you've mentioned, I think, a really critical term, the team. And I think leadership implies others in that sense. But working with a team is hard work, and it's a struggle for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why Bunch is doing what it's doing, because we're all involved in teamwork to some degree. I mean, particularly for people that really are ambitious and really pushing forward, like how do we avoid pushing our own opinions, our own way of working, our own rituals on others? Or another way, what are some ways as a leader that we can learn to collaborate with the team while still pushing forward, but making it an inclusive environment, an environment where the team can succeed? And to your previous answer, towards sustainable success together.
Yeah. So again, it all boils down to the inner work, what happens within them, and I work with the personality types, like the disc, for example. You have to know what's the person's strength. What are they good at? What is their personality? Are they loving to analyze a lot of things? Are they more like connecting with each other? Every person has its own strength. You have to know more about your team, not only skills, because I think skills, everyone can learn some new skills, right? But I think when it comes to having the right team member, you have to look at the personality. What kind of personality? Who's the person? A man or a woman? And the personality. I think that is one of the most important things. I mean, skills, you can always learn the skills, it's okay. Of course, people will join the team because of their skills, but I feel like if you want to create that sustainable success, long-term success, hire people on their personality. What are they good at? What are their strengths? And build up a team like a puzzle. Like, what is it that you need, to make it happen as a department or as a team?
Yeah, that gives me a lot to think about too. I couldn't agree more. I mean, to a very important question next, and we have some questions coming in from the community here. So I just want to throw one more in before we jump to theirs.
Yes.
Your coaching is obviously mainly focused on female leadership. What can men learn about female leadership, and how can they embrace it to make the workplace and their teams more inclusive? But absolutely, what can men learn about female leadership in your experience?
Yeah, so I've heard this also 5 years ago when I became a women's expert 5 years ago. The thing is with women, like, look, men and women, we are equal, right? We are really equal, but we are different. And I've worked with so many women in the corporate world who are like saying, I don't want to be the man wearing a bra, because a lot of women are pushed as a leader to become a kind of masculine leader, forgetting that they are women, right? So women, we are different. So even though, you know, we live in a 24-hour day, right? But women also have a 28-day cycle, like a 28-day rhythm. So it's different. We are different. The way we see the world through our eyes is so different than men. And I think we can learn from each other and embrace those differences. So for example, a ship, when you have a ship, a man can go from A to B with the ship, right? Women, we are not those ships. We are the ocean, you know. We are kind of predictable, unpredictable, but there is a rhythm, a 28-day rhythm for a lot of for all women. And I think it's very important to acknowledge the differences. Women are very good in nurturing, in connecting, in leading. We have a natural way of leading when it comes to, you know, the old times, you know, the maternal instincts. We are leaders of the household, so we know how to lead. We need to lead from within, you know. And man's leadership is so different, but it's different. And for women, it's also different, but it's both are necessary. So we need each other. And the way it works is that we acknowledge our differences and make it happen in the business or on the you know, in a department or in a team. I think that's really like the most important message, you know, for women, but also for men. You know, we are different and we have other strengths, and you know, we have been taught as women, we have been taught to do things, you know, apply the strategy, do the things, have the goal, and then you will have success. You know, it's be, do, have. But for women, we need to work from within first, aligned, not only from here, but here, heart and gut. And when you create that alignment, then she will lead. So yeah, the internal work for women is super important, because if she works from mind, heart and gut set, she's unstoppable.
Well, our community is extremely curious about this point as well. 2 questions have come in
on
this topic.
Tell me.
Samantha asks, what do you see as some barriers for women who want to move into leadership, and how can we all be more cognizant of these barriers, and what can we do about them? So what are some barriers for women that want to move into leadership, and what can we do about them?
So what are the barriers, right?
Right.
So there are 2 barriers. It's the internal barrier and the external barrier. So the internal barrier is for the woman itself, for herself, right? So a lot of women are doubting themselves. They don't take the steps they need to take, you know, to get that promotion, to be a leader of a certain department. So the first barrier is herself. That's really the most important thing. And that's why I was mentioning, before you take any step, before you take action, work first on the internal world. You know, is it really that what you want, and what could stop you? What I see, unfortunately, in my business, that a lot of women are suffering from this sickness. I call it sickness of I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough, you know, and I'm not good enough. It's most of the time she's comparing herself with other women, or she's comparing herself with men, right? But if you feel like I can do it, even though I don't have those 10 points of leadership, if even I have only 8, apply. If you have only 6, apply. You know, just do it, you know. But work first from within, not only mindset, but also mind, heart and gut set, so that you can take action. The external barriers are that's more like the corporate world where you are in. How is their diversity and inclusion strategy? Can they find the right women for those leadership roles? Because I hear a lot of corporate people are telling me that they cannot find the right fit or not the right women for those roles. I doubt that, but it depends on the diversity and inclusion of every company you're working in, basically. So there are two barriers, internal barrier and the external barrier. And how to overcome that is, by going within, like, what do I need to get there? Maybe you need to deblock some things, maybe you have to get rid of some blocks, some patterns from the past before you can make that move. So yeah, that.
Understood. And Hannah actually has a good follow-up here, because I think she's saying a lot of the advice I have seen as a female leader is somewhere along the lines of just believe in yourself. But what are some tangible questions women can ask themselves who want to build confidence and be a better leader that goes a little bit beyond just believe in yourself? So Hannah's question is, how can I build confidence and go beyond just that one line?
Yeah, this is a great question, because just believe in yourself, right? You have no idea how many women I've worked with. They're super successful. You can see it in their bank account. You can see it on the website. You can see the credentials. You can see her expertise. But there's a difference between knowing that she's successful and feeling that she's successful. So this is really key. Yeah, it is easy to say, just believe in yourself, just do it, just believe in yourself. But if a woman doesn't feel it, she knows here that she is successful. She knows, because look at what she has accomplished already so far. But if she doesn't feel that, it will stop her. So what can she do about that is to get rid of those stories that she is saying to herself that holding her back. Because it's so easy to say, yeah, just believe in yourself. Yeah, right. Okay, I get it. I was also like that. Just believe in yourself, right? But if you don't feel that, it will go here and it will go there outside, that's why I'm telling you, it's the internal work. It's not only knowing that you're successful, not only believing yourself, but also feeling, yes, I will do that.
Yeah, there's a big difference, of course, absolutely.
It's a big difference, exactly.
Huge difference. And so a little bit of a shift up to the macro here real quick. Omar is asking, and more away from the work world, let's say, I guess, or at least the traditional corporate work world, the world is torn by wars governed by male leaders. Do you believe female leaders can make the world more peaceful?
Yeah, absolutely. That's my mission. Thank you, Omar, for asking this question. That's my mission. I feel like that the world is really masculine. The measurements are very masculine. And that's what I meant by just look in the past, what happened. Then you know why things happening right now. It's in macro, micro level. It's big. And I don't know about you, but here in the Netherlands, I'm born and raised here in the Netherlands, but just in 1958 or 56, women were allowed to open a bank account in the Netherlands. This is the Netherlands. This is Europe. All right. It's just 60 years ago. I mean, if you look at how women were treated in the past, you understand now the struggle of all those women on a worldwide level. So yes, I believe that the world needs female leadership to balance the masculine and the female leadership, so that the world, can be better for the future generation. We want to create a better future for our next generation, and that's why we need more female leaders. However, I see a lot of female leaders, very good position, very high, but they became like a man. That's the man in the bra. They forget about being a woman and bringing in your female strength, like the maternal instincts we are having by nature. So yeah, Omar, great question. I love that. I believe that we need more women. That's why I do what I do, to help women to get there so that the world will be balanced. because the world, we call it the Mother Earth. It's not Mother Earth anymore. It's something else. But this is what we want as women, as mothers, you know, make it better for the future generation. Hello? Can you hear me? Okay.
Dounia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if it was my internet or your internet, but you're frozen on my end, but you can hear me okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. I don't know if to the audience we're frozen or if that's just on my end, but it could just be me. But I love that we were able to connect sort of the framework to the personal mission. I thought that was amazing what you just shared. No, is this me? I think we're back. Are we back?
Yes.
Did you hear my last sentence, or was I breaking up?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't hear anything. I was asking for more questions, but I didn't hear the question at all.
It must be on my end. No, I apologize. No, I was just saying I'm glad we were able to connect the framework to your personal mission. I just loved what you were able to just share there. I thought that was really meaningful.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it is really. We need more female leaders. Seriously, this is really key, basically. Yeah.
Well, great. I mean, we have a ton of questions still coming in, so I hope we can tackle a few more. Let's go to, this one's from Kate, actually, and it's a good segue. What are some of the best examples of positive change in the workplace that you've noticed in the past 5 years? So you were just ending with, some of the things that, have taken a while to happen, but so going into sort of what you've seen recently, what are some examples of good positive change in the workplace that you have seen?
In a workplace, like in the corporate world, or just on the level, on corporate level or worldwide level?
Let's do anything. Kate does say the workplace, but just maybe some best examples that you have seen, maybe in regards to female leadership, just in general.
Yeah, just in general. I think, for the female leaders in the corporate world, they have this intuition, like a very sharp intuition they can use. They feel it's sometimes we are too much in our head. That's the problem for a lot of women. Too much in their head and completely disconnected with her body. And great example is female leaders who lead by example and create a better working environment for the whole team, by listening to them, by nurturing them, by motivating them, because our true instinct, we always want to have it better for the other. That's really important. That's really like a very female instinct. But the pitfall of that is that you give too much attention to the other and forget about yourself. So I always tell my clients, the other female leaders, to fill up your own cup first before you can nurture the other. Because a lot of female leaders are also over nurturing and forgetting about themselves. So it's very important as a female leader, like, when you take a plane, you go to some place, you hear about the oxygen mask, right? So it's really first your oxygen mask, then help others. And that is what I also might teach my clients. So nurturing, yes, but not over nurturing and forgetting about yourself. So a good example is women are nurturers and leaving better places.
Yes, that and I think the oxygen mask is a mental model that has really landed over the last couple of years. I think it just has really gone mainstream. Luna here asks, what other mental models do you think are most important for leaders in general? Any other mental models like that one that are just really successful in your opinion, or must-haves?
What do you mean by mental model? Like
I guess, like the oxygen mask being something that I think people like put yours on first before trying to help others. That's a really good one. Or another framework doesn't have to be a mental model per se, but any other frameworks that you've shared or seen really seen to be really impactful for your coachees or anybody that you've worked with in the past?
Yeah, like I always say, you know, it's the lead by example. You know, we are true role models to a new generation, and the more women are in leadership, the more examples, the more role models, and especially, you know, when it comes to diversity, you know, not only the blonde, blue-eyed female leaders, but also, you know, another color, skin, different persons, like diversity. That's so important, because you want to create those models, because the new generation needs to find her or himself in the leader. So, and when you lead by example, when you lead from within, you know, not only mindset, but mind, heart, and gut set, you know, you automatically become a true leader. So it's like a natural response. You know, if you work from within, it's innate, it's by design, it's who you really are. You know, I tell a lot of things about my clients, like, if you want to become very successful, you know, and what is successful, you would ask. That is for every person different, right? But what I see is, when you become more yourself, when you become more you, when you allow yourself to be you, you are already successful. You will take action, you know, to become more successful. You will take the action, aligned action, because it's truly who you are. And I think that is success, you know, let alone the money and whatever success you want to create. But true success is being yourself 100%, without a mask, without walking on eggshells, without pretending that you're somebody else. If you do that, it's a recipe for burnout. You can't, especially not women. They can't compartmentalize. They can't, you know, I had a client who told me so many times, like, Dounia, you know, I'm here and I'm telling you all my blogs, but, you know, in real life, I'm so different. And I'm like, that's not possible. If that is possible, you are heading to burnout, because you cannot hold that, you know, that mask. You have to become you. You need you. You don't need anyone else. You need to become more yourself. Then you will create success.
Always a helpful reminder. And for those that weren't tuned in from the very, very beginning, that's the advice that Dounia gave me as well, right? As we jumped on this, which I really appreciated, as always. Yeah. Well, Dounia, here's another question from Alfredo. As men in leadership positions, we really are not always aware of everything that women have to go through in business life. And you've shared some great advice here today already. How can I best coach female employees and or clients?
Great question.
I think it's a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question. What I see, my experience is that women want to be seen and be heard. Just listen what she's got to say. Just listen to her stories and coach her from there. You know, read between the lines. Women can create beautiful stories and hide things, but really feel her vibe. You will, if you are out of your head and you're just tuned in who you are, Alfredo, you will notice between the lines what's going on. Just ask and listen. Really listen. Listen from your heart, not from your mindset, like, I have to listen because, hey, I'm the leader and I have to listen, and I have to reply because, hey, I have to listen. No. Listen from your heart, so that she feels seen and heard. And then things will open up. And I think then you will have the best relationship between employee and manager or leader. Absolutely.
Great question, Alfredo, and I think the answer was great too. That's always a very good reminder. Donald, how do you expect the workplace to change over the next 5 years? So we had the question earlier, what has happened in the last 5 years? How do you expect the workplace to change over the next 5 years to encourage more women to move into leadership?
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. I yeah, I see it happening. I see it happening. But again, what I also see is a lot of women struggling. So I hope they realize that that's why I'm on a mission, to help women to realize that they're women and that they have other strengths. And it's okay to use those strengths because it's needed in this world. So what I will see in the next 5 years, more women, more female leaders, but the ones who are responsible, owning it. Owning it, like being responsible for their team and for their people, but not in a negative way of a very heavy responsibility. No. It's sharing the responsibility in the group, in the team. And another thing is that women are real women and not becoming men, like the man in the bra, like my clients are telling me, like, I don't want to be the man in the bra. No, just be you. This is what I mean by just become more you, And what I also see in the personal development world is that a lot of people are struggling. Like, I don't know what my talent is. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. But hey ho, do you know what you are? You are a woman. Embrace that first. And then you will see what you want, whatever you want to create, whatever you want to manifest. But step 0 is like, do you know what you are?
Amazing. And I think you just talked about, there's a lot of stuff out there in the personal development world, isn't there? The career development world. I mean, there's so much that it is, it's tough to sift through, right? Like and I think that's why these talks are so important for me as a person, but also the team as people, but also the community as people. What is, and you shared a good nugget earlier, what is some of the best career advice that you as a person have ever received? This is a question from Hannah.
Oh, wow. You know what? When I was in the corporate world, I had a very low self-esteem. And you know what? A lot of people were thinking that I was really successful, but I felt they saw me as a very successful employee, but I felt not successful at all. And I remember one woman, she was like from the high level leaders within the corporate, within the corporate area I was working in. That was a big telecom company. And she said to me, I will never forget it. And she said to me, you're going to make it happen. I'm like, me going to make it happen? No way. I was like, how? But I'm not that confident enough. I don't know how. And I had so many questions, but she believed in me. And that was really, that was really crazy because people were seeing more in me than I was seeing myself, that was really awkward. But that sentence always stayed here. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make it happen. She believes me, so I can make it happen, So yeah, without knowing, she was motivating me. So that was when that was 18 years ago.
And I've heard stories like that too. And I think everybody has maybe one of those to a degree, but it's still amazing how much just when you receive that ounce of belief at a critical stage in your life, how much that can actually do for you, right? And to you.
Exactly. And, I was working for Microsoft. And within Microsoft, it was the first time that I heard about realizing your potential. I was potential. I was like 24 years old. I don't remember. I was really young, fresh starter, working for Microsoft, a big company. And then I heard you realizing your potential. I was like, what? Do I have a potential? And oh my God, it's so true. You have an infinite of potentiality, and you can always grow till the day you die. This is insane. This is infinite. That's why I have that infinity sign in my logo. You can always grow, Staying at the
Yeah.
same place for so many years is dying. We are meant to grow. If you have a plant or a flower, it meant to grow. It's meant to grow. We are also meant to grow. So, and that's fun, to learn new things, to boost yourself, to up level yourself. But that was also my second thing, like eye opener within Microsoft, realizing your potential. Now I rephrase it to my client, not realizing your potential, no, actualize your potential. Action, and before you take action, work from within. So yeah.
Nice. Great. Well, we have a couple more questions, a couple more rapid fire questions in our last 5 minutes.
Alrighty.
And then there's some roundup questions to close this out. Some that just involve, what kind of coach am I looking for? But I'll save those for the end. But we have one more on this topic, or on the topic of female leadership. Sam asks, what are we missing out on by not maximizing the talents of all genders, and why does this matter? I love the phrasing of that question, actually. What are we missing out on by not doing this? By not taking any action, by not basically taking action on any of the things we've talked about the last 30 minutes, by not giving female leaders the chance to grow, the space to grow, the opportunity to grow, the belief to grow. And if you didn't exist as a leadership coach, what would we be missing out on?
Well, I always say to my clients, the future creates the present. If you have a future, you know now what to do. So if we have the future, like within 5 years, more female leaders, we know now what to do, right? If we don't take action and it stays like this, we get what we have today. An imbalance. And I feel like it will be worse then. That's what I feel like. It's like I told you, if you're not growing, if you're not transforming or changing, you're staying the same, you get the same of the things you always have. What's the growth? There's no growth. You will die. So that's why I feel like it will be worse. So, and I know that a lot of people are afraid of change. We got to change, and our unconscious mind goes no change. We want to stay at the same place, please. But when I mention change, I mean transformation, and transformation is different than change. If you have like a square, for example, and you want to change that square, it can be a circle or a triangle, right? Now, if we have this square and we transform this square, it would be a cube. That is what we need to do, transformation. Staying true to yourself, but then in a 5D version. Then the world will look great. Yeah, that's what I feel like. So, yeah.
I guess even worse, if we don't do anything, the chances are it stays the same or teeters back towards even worse, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a way.
Yeah.
Right. One more question, maybe a more tactical one. When you for first-time managers or first-time leaders, if you will, because I think there is a fundamental difference, but at the same time, I think we have more leaders on the planet than we give titles to, if we redefine the way we look at leadership in a way. But for first-time managers or first-time leaders, what are some books that you have seen really land or have been really helpful? What are your best book recommendations?
A book recommendation? Oh wow! Oh, that's a great. Oh yeah! Wow. It's a long time ago that I don't read books. I just scan them. I just pick what I need at that moment. Books. Wow. I think the first book. Yeah, the last book I was reading was this morning about human design. It's not woo-woo, but it's a kind of astrology in combination with Asian wisdom. That was the last book I was reading about human design, about if you know who you are, if you know what you are and who you are by design, being true to yourself, there's no barrier. You're going to make it happen. So the last book was about human design. That's what I was reading this morning. But about leadership, I think, when somebody starts for the first time as a leader and or a manager, I think there's, by the way, a big difference between manager and leader. A leader lead by example, manager is more like operational, guiding things, but leader is more like, I think, the connection with the team. I think that is the most important one. I think the relationships with your employees, with the team members, knowing what their strengths are, knowing what they're good at. It's a kind of puzzle, like how to make it happen, how to use this strength in combination with this strength to make it happen. So for the first thing that a leader needs to take into account is, of course, internal work, always, but let's assume that it's already done. Then the second thing is creating relationships, a healthy relationship with the team. That's the thing.
And last question on the 45 mark. We're actually a little bit past it.
Oh yeah.
My favorite question, I think, to be honest, if you could go back in time, all the way back to the beginning when you were a first-time manager or leader, and I do agree there's a very fundamental difference there. What would be now the piece of leadership advice you would give yourself?
You know what? It's a very strange answer, but I was always hesitant about leadership, about my own leadership, because I was really resistant with that word. You know why? Because it sounds so masculine. Leader. It sounds really masculine. I was like, hey ho, I'm not a man, But till a moment I started to learn about, it's not about it's leadership, it's leading from within, from your intuition. So it's an internal process. When I learned about that, it blew my mind. Second, I never thought that I was a leader till I became a mother. And then I saw my daughter, when she's now 9, almost 10. But when she was 1 year old and I was picking her up from the kindergarten, I saw a leader. She was leading the whole group. And the teacher was always telling me like, oh, she's our third teacher in the group, she's always, always leading. And then it hit me like, hey, ho, that leadership is already within me. I created this little being there who is a natural leader. So I was neglecting my leadership all the time. So yeah, the advice I would give myself is lead, go. Don't run away, go. Yeah.
It's a phrase and motto we have in the team to take the lead. It's one of the values. I love that last anecdote. I think that's exactly what I mean when I say there are far more leaders than the sort of masculine connotation that currently runs the way that word is interpreted. I think there are far more leaders out there than we know, even at all ages, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. And so when I became a mother, that was my transformation out of my head into my body.
I love that. I think we need people like you in order to do that, because it is definitely easier said than done in a way. So Dounia, I've greatly appreciated. I think we hit every question. If I missed one, I apologize, but I do think we hit everyone.
I think so.
That last one was from, who was that last one from? I just want to give that person credit. That last one was from Racheli, and then we had just sort of the roundup question. But Dounia, this has been great. We've been a little over time, but I've enjoyed this so much, and I hope the community has enjoyed this. It's been truly enlightening for me, and we'll make sure we pull all the great stuff out of this and make sure it stays with us, and we can share it after the fact as well. And just big thanks from all of us.
Thank you so much for giving me this space and this area and this live show. Going back to my TV host time. No, it was a great honor to be here. And if there are more questions, you can always find me in the Slack community and ask the questions over there. I'm always there to help you and to answer your questions if there are more.
Yes, Dounia will be in the Slack group, and we're so thrilled to have her there. Amazing. Dounia, thank you so much. One last time.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, Anthony. Bye, guys and girls.